Chapter 1. The impossible question. Have you ever wondered why there is a you experiencing this moment right now? Not just a body, not just neurons firing, but an inner world, a private universe unfolding behind your eyes. Stay with me until the very end of this video, because the last idea I'll share, the revelation waiting in the final minute, is the power to rewrite how you see yourself, your mind, and the entire cosmos. Consciousness. The one thing you cannot deny. As philosophers like René Descartes and Thomas Metzinger remind us, doubt anything except the fact that you are aware. Everything else, space, matter, time, might be an illusion or a simulation. But the simple fact that something is being experienced right now is absolutely undeniable. And yet, no one knows what consciousness actually is. Chapter 2. The hard problem of consciousness. Neuroscience can map every fold, every firing pattern, every chemical cascade of the brain. But none of this explains why there is a subjective experience happening inside. This is what David Chalmers famously called the hard problem of consciousness. How does matter produce the taste of chocolate? The sound of music? The feeling of being alive? Philosopher Thomas Nagel asked a question science still cannot answer. What is it like to be anything? We don't know. We can measure the mechanisms of the brain, but not the miracle of awareness. Chapter 3. Why materialism fails, for more than a century. The dominant theory was simple. The brain produces consciousness. When the brain stops, consciousness stops. But thinkers like Sam Harris and Christoph Koch point out that this explanation is incomplete. Describing the hardware does not explain the software. Measuring brainwaves does not reveal why there is a felt sense of being. No matter how detailed our science becomes, it never touches the lived first-person experience. Materialism explains behavior, but not being. Chapter 4. Panpsychism. Consciousness everywhere. So philosophers began exploring new possibilities. One of them is panpsychism, championed by Philip Goff in Galileo's era. Panpsychism suggests that consciousness might be a fundamental property of the universe, like mass or charge. Not in a mystical sense, but in a scientific, structural sense. Matter would have tiny primitive sparks of experience, not thoughts or emotions, but a seed. This doesn't mean rocks think. It means that consciousness didn't appear out of nowhere inside humans. It evolved out of deeper layers already present in nature. William James saw consciousness as a stream. Whitehead saw reality itself as a process of experiential events. Panpsychism bridges the gap, but still leaves a bigger question unanswered. Chapter 5. Idealism. Mind first, matter second. Idealism goes further, much further. Thinkers like Bernardo Kastrup claim consciousness is not inside the universe. The universe is inside consciousness. Matter does not create mind. Mind creates matter. Like a dreamer dreaming a world, consciousness generates space. Time, form, sensation, and temporarily forgets that it's dreaming. This echoes ancient philosophies. Kant's distinction between the world as it appears and the world as it is. Schopenhauer's idea that reality is representation inside mind. Vedanta's claim that consciousness is the fundamental substrate. In this model, the brain is not a generator, it's a filter. Chapter 6. The scientific frontier. When physics meets mind. Surprisingly, modern physics begins to point in the same direction, even unintentionally. Quantum mechanics shows that observation affects reality. Information theory suggests that the universe may be made of data, not matter. Researchers like Giulio Tonani, with his integrated information theory, attempt to quantify consciousness itself. Roger Penrose and Stuart Hameroff propose that quantum processes inside neurons might be linked to awareness. Donald Hoffman argues that our senses don't show us reality. They show us a user interface shaped by evolution. It's just like icons on a computer desktop. Latko Vedral describes the universe as a giant informational structure. The line between physics and mind is dissolving. Chapter 7. Consciousness as a field. The brain as a receiver. What if consciousness is not a product of the brain, but a field the brain tunes into? Aldous Huxley said the brain might work like a reducing valve, filtering a vast field of awareness into something manageable. This aligns with research on near-death experiences published in The Lancet and Resuscitation, where patients with minimal brain activity report vivid, coherent consciousness. It aligns with mystical experiences described across cultures. It aligns with deep states of meditation. It aligns with psychedelic research at Johns Hopkins. The brain becomes the lens, not the light. Chapter 8. The illusion of the self. If consciousness is fundamental, what is the I, the ego, the story, the personality, the narrative, maybe just a temporary construction, mask, a local pattern? Carl Jung described the self as something far larger than the ego. Alan Watts said the universe is the self exploring itself. Eckhart Tolle calls the ego an illusion of identity created by thought. Maybe you are not a person having consciousness. Maybe consciousness is having a moment as you. Before we go further, share this in the comments. What do you think consciousness really is? Your answer. answers deep in this community. Chapter 9. Science and Spirituality. 2 languages, 1 truth. Across centuries and continents, spiritual traditions said the same thing using different metaphors. Vedanta, consciousness is the ground of reality. Taoism, the Tao is the formless source of all forms. Mystics from Rumi to the Upanishads describe awareness as universal, indivisible, eternal. Scientists and spiritual teachers seem to be circling the same center from different directions. We are approaching a unified understanding. Consciousness may be the bridge between physics and philosophy, between matter and meaning, between self and cosmos. Chapter 10. The Revelation. The final idea I promised. Here it is. Consciousness cannot be found because it is what is doing the searching. It cannot be observed because it is the space in which all observation happens. It cannot be reduced, divided, or destroyed because it is not a thing. It is the field in which all things appear. You do not have consciousness. You are consciousness. And the universe is arising inside what you are. The galaxies, the stars, the memories, the sensations, all unfolding within awareness like waves rising from the same ocean. Once you see this, even for a moment, you never see the world in the same way again. Chapter 11. Final. If this journey opens something inside you, let us know. And if you want more videos where science meets philosophy and touches the edges of the mystical, leave a like and subscribe. It helps this message reach more people and helps this community grow into a space of deep exploration. Till next time, beautiful presence of the universe. Remember, the cosmos is not out there. It is happening right here in consciousness.